It's all my hippie friends. Hi there, it's Gord. It's Remembrance Day. It's an unusual day for me. I'm I'm saddened, I'm troubled. I have a difficult time with today. I always have. Always have. But I want to share it with all of you because us understanding each other is an important feature of our relationship in this channel. Sometimes you won't agree with me. I ask you, please don't get upset with me if you don't. Opinions are opinions. We all have them. We all have other parts too. They don't make or break us. They're just a part of us and part of what makes me likable or not likable to some, but very few, very few. So, what do I mean about all this remembering? See, let me just say, to me, a peaceful hippie, uh, war, what's it good for? Absolutely nothing. Seriously, nothing. Um, World War One was the war to end all wars. Then, only a few years after it ended, the central bank started, and we have been in perpetual war ever since. I tie those two. I definitely tie those two. But it gets worse. That's the base of my upsetedness over this day. Because we are on this day supposed to remember those who have fought to gain our freedom. And that's what bothers me. I will honor all of you who fought. All of those that you've lost who fought. All of those who have fought and are gone. I'll remember all of them with beautiful memory, with respect and love. But they were lied to. They were told they were fighting for our freedom. We are no free. In fact, probably less free today than we were 100 years ago, after or beginning World War One. We are no more free, and we are still at war. Shortly after the end of World War One, most men were given their voting rights, regardless of your land ownership, because prior to that, only landowners could vote, regardless, male or female, just most of them were male. They gave the vote to men in the hopes that they would vote for freer people that would put an end to war. Never happened. Never happened. We send our sons and daughters away to fight for what has for sure been deemed manufactured fear. We're afraid of things that are happening, so we teach our children patriotism and to fight for your country, but you aren't fighting for your neighbor. You're fighting for the guy who owns Exxon. You're fighting for the guy who owns the central banks. You're not fighting for your neighbor to be safe from the tyrannical overthrows of Muslimhood or way back in the Nazi era. The people who funded our side of that war to win that war also funded the other side of the war. That's the thing. When you know all this, and yes, I know it. We don't teach it to our kids, but I know it. When you know all this, it's so hard to have a day that we glorify. I agree with remembering, but let's not glorify fighting a war. It's not glory-filled. It is fear-filled. We have nations full of really badly hurt people because they've gone out and killed for the state, only to find out that the state won't do anything to support them. It's a real obfuscation of details. If we gave our children more details, they would not join. My own son, while he was growing up and I was not yet fully awake, was so into the Navy, and I was sure by 17 or 18 he was going to go off and end up in Afghanistan or something like that. I am so glad that he woke up. I respect anybody who goes. It's not the person's fault that they have been led wrongly. That's my sadness. That's my feeling, is that we can't get enough people awake who can raise their children to understand that you don't fight. You don't go to fight. You defend. And let's be real, there's manufactured issues. If the state, if the powers that be, if the elite would stop funding both sides and just keeping war going, if we could just end this, Remembrance Day would become something of, remember years ago when we used to send people to war just so we could get more oil or just so we could keep people employed? And we used to lie to the people and tell them it was because the people on the other side wanted them dead, when it was truly we just wanted their oil. Can we get to that kind of an honest society? I think we can. I do think we can. We are at a point where the only difference I saw between the two presidential candidates in the US was that one blamed every problem she ever had on the Russians, and the other one wanted to make friends with Russia and try to get some peace going. Do I trust either of them? No. But if I have to lean towards somebody, I'm going to lean away from the warmonger. That's my feelings for today. I respect every one of you who have fought or who have lost someone who has fought. Huge respect, huge love, and massive sadness. This day really holds heavy on me. So I share that with you. I just have a different hope for the future that I'm sure some of you share too. So although this was nothing to do with medical, I guess it is to do with medical. My channel's medical, and this makes my day difficult because depression is one of my things, and this is just so this is so overwhelming to somebody who's already a little bit sad, to think of the incredible loss of life to Canadians, Americans, Britons, Australians, all these people fighting this stupid thing in the Middle East, when if we just close those borders and let those people do whatever fighting we have that we feel is necessary. I'm going to stop now. This is getting too difficult. I didn't want it to get there, but you've all seen me pretty raw and unplugged, and that's today, raw and unplugged. I have my son here, haven't had any medicine. I'm going to have a CBD pill in a bit here and relax and take him shopping. I'm going to make the most of today. So, peace and cheers, love and harmony, lest we forget. But worse, let's remember the right things. Love you.